Hi traders, Optimus Futures here, bringing you a new TradingView tutorial. And in this video, we'll be showing you how to use and apply the volume profile indicator directly on your TradingView charts. Now, I do want to preface this by saying we have created a similar video in the past, but TradingView has made so many good updates throughout the years and since our last video that we wanted to make a new 2023 version, upgraded video guide or updated video guide that shows you how to use these features with all the changes that TradingView has made. So if you do happen to stumble upon both videos, make sure you watch this one as it will apply to you as a newer 2023 TradingView user. So again, this video is focused on volume profile. One other thing I would like to mention, at least at the time of this recording, is volume profile, as far as I know, is only available in one of the paid licenses of TradingView. So you do need at least their essential package to access these features. If you're just using the free version of TradingView, I do not believe you'll be able to access the volume profile indicators. So for volume profile specifically, you'll want to navigate to the top left of TradingView, come down to the indicator section here, and open up this window. Now, most of what you'll find, at least native to the platform itself, for this video at least, will be located in the profile section. So again, you're going to want to click on indicators in the top left. It will open up this window, go to technicals, and then go to profiles. And as you can see here, these are all of TradingView's built-in volume profiles that they have available native to their software. There's also community scripts, so I am sure you can add quite and find quite a few variations of volume profile that were customized by users and who have had and developed scripts for volume profile. As you can see here, I just randomly opened this list, and the second one available is volume profile with a few polylines that was created by a user. The fourth one down is another version of volume profile. So if there's anything native to TradingView that they don't have, or you want something more advanced or something more customized, you can either, for one, take the source code and customize your own script, or you can come to community scripts, type in volume profile, and you'll find just about everything available. You can see I have favorited quite a few of them already, so they're showing on my favorites section, but you'll also find them under technicals here, which I just showed you, and then here are all the community versions of these scripts as well. So feel free to look through them, apply them to your charts if you'd like. But these ones are the ones that we'll be focusing on. The technicals under profiles, these are what TradingView actually offers and the ones that TradingView themselves have developed. So as you can see here, a new indicator in this section is TPO charts. That's not exactly volume profile, so we won't be covering that too much here, but since it is the first one on our list, it is worth showing, and it is new since our last video that there is TPO charts now available. So I just wanted to show you that since we're covering this section, but I'm going to quickly move on from that and focus more on volume profile now that we're actually here. So you can see by default, the one TradingView D1's TradingView provides by default are the auto anchored volume profile. There's fixed range volume profile, periodic, session volume profile HD, and visible range volume profile. Now, if you are not sure about any of these indicators, the ones that are built into TradingView themselves have built-in explanations. They have a whole help center that explains and guides you through exactly what these indicators are. So, for example, if you weren't sure about the difference between session volume profile and volume profile HD, you can go ahead, hover over the indicator, come to the right side of this menu, and click on the question mark. This will open up the help center on the right hand side of TradingView and give you a definition. So again, if you weren't sure about a particular difference or you wanted to see how it was calculated, they have both the definition here and they have the calculations. So you can come in here, see everything that's customizable. They show you the different inputs, different outputs that you can customize, how you can configure it, so on and so forth. So I would really suggest if you're unsure about anything that is shown in here to come into this section on the right and read through it. Fortunately, we don't have the time to explain every single volume profile and the minute differences between the two, or between the differences, excuse me, in this video. But TradingView does a really good job of it and gives you a whole help center right here on the right hand side of your chart that does a really good job of explaining it. So I'll go through these differences, or show you what they look like on the chart, and show you a couple different options and different settings that you can customize to tailor their experience to your trading. Before I do that, I am going to just erase this indicator here and give us a clean view here of our chart. Let's go back up to indicators and let's start adding them. So the first one here we have is an anchored volume profile. Let's go ahead and expand that a bit. And we accidentally added 2, so I want to get rid of 1. And now we can start to customize it. So the anchored one, which we'll go into settings here and look at a quick description of what this indicator does. This stands for the AAVP. This automatically determines the most important price points and volume levels depending on the current chart time frame, and it calculates a volume profile for these points. TradingView thinks this can help traders simply identify significant support and resistance levels as well as areas of high liquidity. So once you have this plotted on your chart, you can go ahead and customize the settings by coming up to the top left here, clicking on the cogwheel, and it'll open up this window. So you can see by default the anchor period is set to auto. If I want to customize this, I can change it by the highest highs, the lowest lows, the highest volume. I can change it based on the session timing, the week, the month, the year, so on and so forth. You can see all the different options here. I can change the length. By default, it's set to 14. And it looks like this can only be justified if you change it to highest highs, lowest lows, or high volume. You can base it based on the number of ticks or the number of rows. You can change the row size if you need to. You can change whether you want this displaying for up and down volume or just the total or the delta. And then you can customize the volume area as well. From here, you can change a style. So we want to go ahead and add values. You can change the width of the box. You can change the up and down colors. You can change a VAH, a VHL, developing POC, developing POA. And this is starting to give us more of an entire view of what this anchored VWAP should really be doing. Let's expand out even more. And now we can see the full thing. You can see it was cut off there a bit. You were able to see the lines being plotted, but because it was cut off on my screen, you couldn't see the most important part of this indicator. Now we can. At a quick glance, if you were doing something like I was, if you hover in these areas, you can actually see these numbers also in the top right, if you can see my mouse. So you can see the deltas highlighted by blue. So anytime I'm hovering my mouse in this blue section, it's showing me the delta. Over here, it's showing the green information, the yellow, it's corresponding up at the top. So you can hover your mouse over these if you are zoomed into the chart like I was, and at a quick glance, look at the corresponding data in the top left rather than on the side here. So you really have two options of going about this. Going back to the settings here, you can see that blue section was the value area up, yellow's value area down. Then there's this greenish section here that's down. This is up volume. And again, you can customize and change these as you needed. You can change it the color of the histogram if you'd like to too. So if for whatever reason you can't see the colors too well or you need to make them a little bit darker, you can do this setting. Visibility as well. This is having it configured for certain time frames. So if you have your chart set to 1 minute and you turn off the different hours, days, weeks, it's only going to show you the 1 minute time frame. You see if I uncheck that, it disappears. So this is for those of you traders who do work with different time frames but may not want your indicator plotted on all time frames. You can come into here in visibility and add or remove any of the different time frames you want or ranges. That way your indicator only displays for the time frames you're interested in. And that way you don't have to go in there, delete an indicator, re-add it when you're doing different time frames. This makes it a lot more simplified and much easier to use. Now, we did create another video that shows this, but in case you were wondering if this was the wrong VWAP that you're looking for, or excuse me, the wrong volume profile that you're looking for, and you didn't want to do it, in this other video we've made recently, we show you how to manage and modify indicators. I'll show you quickly how to do that here since it's a similar topic, so you don't have to watch another video, but you'll be able to manage and modify indicators in any sub window of your chart. So for example, this is my main window here. The sub window up here is where I can go ahead and close this out. I just click on the indicator name and I can close this, click this X to remove it. Or I can use my object tree, my data window up here in the top left, and I see any indicator in any charts that I had plotted on my screen. You can see here, here's auto anchored volume profile. I can go ahead and click this X and it goes ahead and deletes it. Again, we have another video that shows more of that in further detail if you want to take a look at it. But for now, that's how you're going to delete your volume profiles. Here's a fixed range volume profile. Let's go ahead and double click that to add it. With this, it is a little bit different. Since it's fixed, you need to click a set point. It's not automatic like the other one. So first I want to have a set point. There's no rhyme or reason why I'm going to click here. I'm just doing so. I click my first point. You'll see it gives you almost like a array where you can create an area of data. So if I pull it all the way to the right, it knows this is the current candle. It won't let me go any further, of course, because there's no data. If I need to, I can go all the way back as well. And I can go ahead and plot this. And you can see it gives me my fixed range volume profile for this fixed range that I just specified. Same thing like we've seen before. We can now go ahead and customize it. Another way to get in and customize your indicators are to right click the indicator and you can go to settings. You can also get the object tree from up here as well. So going up to the top, I right click, I want to go to settings, and I can see all the inputs and parameters of my volume profile here. The row size by default is 24. If that's too big, I can make the number smaller or larger. Again, you can customize the display to show up or down volume. You can have it configured by delta or by the total number of volume. You can change the volume area, again, just like the last one. And in this, you can also change it based on number of rows or ticks per row. This extend right basically extends the data all the way or as far as it can to the right. If you have this turned off, it may look or appear truncated. You can change a style, and we've basically seen this before. If you want to see the numbers within the actual indicator itself, you can click values. Otherwise, like I showed, you can sort of hover over this and you can see the data at a brief glance if you'd like to. It's probably better for this one specifically to enable the values. And then you can change within these value areas the colors, of course. You can display it how they're the thickness or the size of the display or the width of the box. You can have it displayed on the right or the left. This is good if in case you run into something like I did in the last indicator where I accidentally plotted it on the off my chart and off my screen and couldn't see it. This is for those of you that want to place it on the right axis of your chart instead. This is a good way to customize that. They have the POC and all these developing, the POC lines developing VA, VAL, VAH. You can enable these. You can change the thickness of the line. You can change how it appears, and you can change the color as well as the opacity. For this, this is a bit particular to this specific since it is a fixed range. This is the coordinates. If somehow or some reason you know the coordinates of TradingView and are able to just plot your indicator based on coordinates alone, you're more than welcome to do that and just type in your coordinates here if you'd like to. I don't know that, so I prefer to edit my range manually. And to do that, you just click these bubbles that create that ray for you that I showed, and you can just manually adjust on the fly if you need to, change the value area of the volume profile. Again, you can do it with the coordinates as well. I'm personally not too familiar with how to access those coordinates or how to come up with them on the fly. So for me, in my opinion, it's a lot easier to use these bubbles. Again, we have something similar here, the visibility. Same thing like we showed you before. If you only use certain indicators on certain time frames, this is where you want to adjust it. Just pick and choose which time frames you want this indicator available on. If you don't want it shown, you uncheck it. If you want it displayed, make sure it's highlighted and you specify the exact time you'd like it displayed for. One thing that is good to mention, I didn't mention in the last indicator, but if you do use the same indicator often and use it across multiple instruments or multiple charts, you may want to consider applying a template. You can name the drawing template whatever you like. So for me, I can name this based on my customization here. I can name this a 1 minute FRVP. And I know that's the 1 minute fixed range volume profile. Now, if I use this same exact setup with the same exact colors, quite often I can now come down here and rather than go through these settings every single time, if I erase my indicator, all I need to do is go ahead, add it back to my chart. Go ahead and you're going to need to set a range first just to get this populated in the object tree. Then you can go to settings and apply your exact volume profile. Now, again, because this is one of those particular indicators that requires on you manually plotting fixed range, you do need to get that first before you can get into the customizable settings. So just remember that you don't have to plot the exact coordinates you want to apply your template that you made, but you just need to have something here to actually get in there and access those settings. Moving forward, we have the periodic volume profile. Now this one is going to calculate. We don't need to click on the fixed points like we have for the other one, but let's get into settings really quick and see what's going on here. So again, we want to right click at the top. We want to make it visible and we want to access our settings. And this is based on periods, so we may not see anything until certain criteria is hit. Let's try and make this a 1 minute to match our time frame, and let's see if we can get something to populate. Let's change it to total volume. We'll keep these as is. Let's extend these values all the way to the right. Let's plot values here, and let's try and get something to display. And there we go. With this, I think it needed a second to calculate because it was so much data. But as you can see here, after a second or two, it does populate. We can add or remove these lines as we need to. We can customize the colors. As you can see, some of them can overlay each other a bit, so you may want to make and change the opacity on them just to be able to see them a little bit better. You can consider changing the histogram box as well, or changing the placement of these as well if you'd like. And same thing as we've seen before, we have the visibility options that you can customize and configure as needed. So if you use this indicator across multiple time frames or different charts, it's probably a good thing to go in there and customize it and edit it just based on the time frame you'd like. You can see with this one, you definitely need to be precise about which lines you're enabling here and which point of control. Depending on what time frame you're using, this can get a bit more bunched up, as you can see, especially since I'm using a 1 minute time frame. This would probably look a little bit cleaner if my chart in my period type was something larger like an hour or a day, and I had a larger time frame with maybe a smaller chart, less historical data. But for the sake of this video, this is just showing you how to basically manage volume profile and how to add them, where to access them. So for now, I think this does a good job at showing you how to actually add and find this indicator. It could possibly be done a bit cleaner uh, based on some different time frames and different adjustments with the settings. But again, I think it does a good job now of showing off what exactly this is. Let's erase this and move on to the next one. We have session volume profile. I accidentally clicked a few times, so you'll see this added multiple times. This one just basically you can specify the volume profile for specific sessions. So going into the settings here, you can see this is basically showing me my real-time hour. So it's basically the stock market hours, 9:30 a.m. to 16 o'clock. You can see it's showing it based on the exchange. You can here change it based on the ETH or the RTH, basically the pre-market, overnight, or the real-time hours. And you can see you can pick and choose. So you can set it to all, which it is right now. You could do pre-market, pre-market only. Excuse me, that's each. So this will let you swap back and forth. Now this is where it shows only pre-market. You can see nothing showing here because I'm in currently real-time hours, so we'll need to scroll before the market were open to even see that data, which right now I'm on a 1 minute chart, so it will take quite a bit of time to scroll back to that. But just showing you that this is what this feature does. It only shows you the volume profile based on your session. So of course you're not going to see that because the market is open. If we switch to market, which as right now we're currently within this time period, it will display. You can also make this custom where you can type in whatever you want. So for the futures market, if you're trading something possibly like a grain or some sort of commodity that closes earlier than the indices, which close at 5 p.m. Eastern, you may want to come in here and use something custom, and that way you make your own time frames for something like a product like wheat that closes earlier in the day. And you can go ahead and customize this to be based on that product's closing time. So just something to keep in mind. Not every single product closes at 5 o'clock Eastern time on the futures market. So something you want to be aware of if you are trading the indices like the MES or the ES and Q or the Russell, the Dow. You could follow these hours here. They follow the exchange correctly. Same thing like we've shown in the other ones. You have your up or down, your total or your delta volume. You could have the volume area. We can set rows based on number of rows, number of ticks. We can change the size. We can have the POC and these value area lines extend all the way to the right of the chart. Same thing with style. I personally always prefer mine to have values in it, so I can just scroll over and look right within these volume profile bars and see exactly what's going on at a quick glance, rather than highlight it and try and figure out what it is based on the color coordination in the top left. For me, it's a lot easier to just plot these values and look right within the bar. Same thing we've seen before. We have the possibility to change the width, the placement of these bars, the different value areas and different lines that can be customized, color, thickness, opacity, so on and so forth. And then the same old visibility section that we've seen before, you can customize these based on certain time frames. Moving on to the next option, the next one we have up is Session Volume Profile HD. You'll see this is pretty similar to the last one we did. I do need to teach myself what the difference between HD is in the normal one we just did. So that is, like I showed in the start of this video, a good thing you could do is come back into this list and click the question mark if you're unsure of what the difference is between the HD and the normal one. That shows you right here. Additionally, unlike the normal regular session volume profile, this one automatically adjusts the level of detail as you zoom in on the charts. When fewer bars appear on the chart, more levels are displayed. So basically, unlike the last one where it was just big chunks of data and it just showed no matter what, this one acts as it's smart, quote unquote. So as you can see, as I zoom in here, it's only going to start to show data and display as it, for one, is in my session. You can see here anything outside the section is just grayed out. And then two, once I have those value areas, actually display those values in a manner that only displays once I've zoomed into my chart enough. So you're just not overloaded by all that different data all at one time. So again, that was a good practical use. If you needed, and like in my situation, did not know the difference between volume profile HD and normal, that's one really easy way to tell. And I'm glad we are able to show that off in a video, showing you a practical use for it. The last one here is visible range volume profile. It's going to plot it here on the right-hand side of the chart. Again, if we weren't sure, we could look up the definition of what that meant through TradingView's help guide. Coming into my object manager here, or my object tree, I can go to my settings. Basically the same thing as we've seen on the others. This one you can change the number of ticks per row. You can change the row size, volume down, volume area, and then go ahead and change the values and the styles as we've seen. So just to summarize, everything with volume profile can pretty much be found under technicals and under profiles. Remember, you do need at least the essential version of TradingView at the time of this recording to access these features. Or if you have access to the community scripts, remember, you can also type in volume profile and access them all, along with all these custom different indicators right through this list. Anytime you want to add or modify it, I personally like using the object tree in the top right. That's the fourth icon down. And you can go ahead and close out these volume profiles, manage your chart, and edit any settings as you need to. I hope this video helped. I hope you now understand and know how to use and apply volume profile with TradingView. This platform has a ton of different indicators, and volume profile is just one of them. So feel free to utilize that. and we hope this video helps. So if you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comment section down below, or you can also visit our community forum. It's community.optimusfutures.com. We fully support TradingView for both live accounts and demo accounts. We'll post a demo in the link down below. Feel free to give it a try if you're interested, and let us know your thoughts. Thanks.